Max Hardcore, the outcasts on the fringe of the porn industry? Are they more heroes of free speech, considering he pushes the envelope of what's legal and got arrested for it? And also, how do you guys compare someone like that to, say, the pastor in Florida who's going to burn the Korans?
The who?
The pastor in Florida that was going to do the Koran burning?
Wow, that's good.
Equally.
That's good. Now, you hit a really tough one, because that was the most difficult thing that turned the entire adult industry on its head. Because when people get busted and prosecuted, we all have. I've been busted for directing porn. You know, we all have. And they find Bible Belt areas around the country, and they prosecute companies and cities that will find the film obscene. They won't do it in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, LA, of course not. But they go to Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, parts of Tennessee, I'm sure. They find places where a jury could find, a Presbyterian jury will find the film obscene. And what they use a lot is black guys and white girls to find that obscene. Rather showing a transsexual video or a gay film, they use that to make more of a racial interest, which is really what the FBI has done in the past is actually disgusting. Under Republicans, they prosecute. Under Democrats, they don't. Now, a lot of us are busted. The thing with Max Hardcore made it so difficult that so many people in porn just hated what he does. He does the strongest stuff. Now, he talked about pink eye. And, he doesn't put anybody's life in danger or give them any kind of disease or germs. But his stuff is so mean and mean-spirited. And again, I think people have a right to whatever fantasy they want. You know, you want to see, men, being tied up, S&M, you want to see girls being tied up. Whatever your fantasy is, we have a right to create it, because you might want to see it. And that's what's called freedom of speech. But his stuff is so much on the edge that people were really torn. Larry Flint himself, who's been a pioneer of this for years, his decision of the Supreme Court made it legal to insult celebrities. There'd be no Jay Leno or Dave Letterman if it weren't for Larry Flint. But even Larry says to me, Ron, I don't know what to do about this Max Hardcore thing, We all hate his work. It's very chauvinistic and it's not good, but he's also being held up on charges and he's going to be facing 4 years in jail. And right now, he is serving 4 years in jail. The jury voted against him. And we all go, and so then Larry made a point at one of his speeches and said, look, freedom of speech doesn't protect speech that you like. And then Max Hardcore made a speech when he said, look, I cannot compete with Vivid or Wicked or VCA for those big budget pirates type movies. This is my niche. I do these little low budget, films, and he tried to defend himself. And I understood his point, and I understand the whole freedom of speech point. But we're really torn. To this very day, I don't know how you feel about Max Hardcore. I don't know if he deserves 4 years in jail, but it's a very tough situation, so.
Yeah, I would say, the guy burning the Quran, actually last week we were supposed to debate in Gainesville, and they canceled me because I'm a pastor. And I was like, I'm nothing like that guy, but we can't have anybody religious on campus. So it's funny, Ron's allowed to go. The pastor gets, booted out. And because they're like, man, they're going to hate you, and it's like, hey, don't lump me in that camp. And there's other guys, Westboro Baptist, if you've seen the people that picket soldiers' funerals, God Hates Fags is their website. These people are crazy. They don't represent the gospel. And so I think Ron and I, where we would agree, there's people inside the porn industry that he gets lumped in with that aren't anything like, Ron would never hurt anybody. I know that. But Max Hardcore, without a doubt, I think would. That guy is just sleazy as all get out, and his films are disgusting, and every time I see him at the porn shows, you just kind of want to cringe. I think the same way kind of we feel about some of these religious people that have just done some awful things, in Jesus' name. So I get lumped in and associated just, well, you're a pastor and that guy's going to burn this thing, so don't come. And it was like, okay, I won't come. So Ron debated a feminist lesbian last week instead. So she was allowed to go.
And won. No, I'm kidding.
It's good. So yeah, I would say it's pretty similar where you can't take everybody, from the porn industry, everybody from a religious and lump us all in there. There's a lot of people out there, especially on the religious side, that I think are in there for shock, that it's just, publicity, or it's just kind of just trying to be extreme and nowhere near any of the teachings of the gospel.
So you say that both industries have their moderates and their fanatics?
Yeah, and I think you want, especially on the religious side, you hear about something like that, especially in the church or anything, like, oh, these people did that. And yeah, you just kind of cringe and go, I'm never going to church, or I'm never doing that. I have our biggest critics isn't the porn industry, and that's why it's kind of we go to, I'd rather hang around these people than probably most church people, because there's so much of that kind of craziness sometimes in the church. We have a hate mail section on our website that's, we only put the hate mail up from like the religious people that tell us, like, you know, you're burning in hell and you're going to do this because I'm like friends with him. And it's just like, what? Isn't this what we're all supposed to be about? But, and so we've gotten a lot of opposition, I'd say, from the church by thinking we're the crazy people. And so, I mean, you're going to see that in all industries and I think in all religions.
Okay.
Hi, my